Good morning. We are going to present the resolution, and my name is Fiorella, and this is my colleague Valeria. In my neighborhood, it was so important that it rose up a country's economy. A whole culture was built around it, and by itself, it represents a trade of $1 billion annually, as the second most exported product, generating over 4,000 direct jobs. That's what bananas represent for Costa Rica. But worldwide, it's part of the basic and daily diet of at least 400 million people, being the fourth most important product on earth, just behind rice, wheat, and corn. Also, the banana industry provides thousands of households in developing countries with their main source of income. There are some countries like the United States, China, and the European Union that import 68% of the banana trade in the whole world. And for example, Japan imports 1 million bananas every year. The banana market reaches 19.2 million tons last year, and only in Ecuador, which is its main producer, it helped 2.5 million people with their main source of income. But now, this beloved group is threatened by these small guys. He started up this podium at the speed race 4. This is responsible of causing the banana disease. And we are talking about 80% of the banana crops worldwide that are being threatened by it. This fungal disease is one of the most devastating diseases of vascular wheels that has no cure or effective treatment. And there are some countries that have been already devastated by this, such as Australia, Lebanon, and the Philippines, and other regions like Latin America and the Caribbean are under a phytosanitary alert. And strict security measures have been taken since the fungus was spotted 4 months ago in Colombia. And that's why our project MOSA is seeking for solutions in a whole new level never experimented before. We will do a dual culture of 2 antagonist fungi at the International Space Station through the ISQ platform. We will use Trichoderma arsenicum and Fusarium race 1. Since Costa Rica is also under the phytosanitary alert, we cannot introduce race 4 to our country. So we will use race 1 that has morphological and genetic similarity to race 4, and that way we can study the disease without putting our plantations and our regional risk. The main objective of our mission is to expose both fungi to constant microbiological conditions and compare them to 2 unnerved controls so that we can detect differences in between the gene expression, mainly from the RNA conserved areas. And keeping in mind our main goals, which are to return it in safe conditions to Earth for further in-lab analysis, also to acquire parametric and millimetric resolution image data from the Vision Scientific payload during the whole on-orbit cycle, and also to provide infrastructure and experiment staff to study dual culturing interactions in microbiology. I also want to point out that this will be the first time that an experiment of this type will be done in the ISS. So for the concept of operations, we will have 2 main operation drivers. We will have an space segment and an on-ground segment. In the space segment, we will have a 1U carrier containing the experiment, and in the ground segment, we will have a clinostat, which is a microbiology simulator, and also we will have a normal culture in regular lab conditions. And for the experimental setup, we will use modified petri dishes of a rectangular shape with measures of 60 millimeters wide, 30 millimeters long, and 7 millimeters thickness. We will use a potato-based Strauss angular medium with a pH of 5.5 and a concentration of 1.5%. Temperature in this experiment should range between 35 to -5 degrees Celsius, and humidity should range oscillate between 60 and 80%. The oxygen concentration must be at 22% and to prevent an oxygen deficit due to the fungus metabolism, we will use the ISQ facility airflow system, and also we will use different sensors to constantly monitor these conditions. And to analyze the antagonism between both organisms, we will use the Rose Advancement Formula, which is this one right here. D1 means the linear growth of the antigen, and 17, and D2 represents the linear growth of the cytogen. Also, we will run an statistical analysis, and this will also be the first time this analysis will be run with such precise measures in the International Space Station. We will use sample size of 9 replicates per treatment, so that we can run a parametric variance with a 95% of confidence intervals, and on our test up to 90%, so that we can do this through an ANOVA test and detect differences in between treatments of 50%.
Okay, so with this experimental setup, we established 4 requirements for this phase cycle. The first one is a minimum of 6 samples. This is because we need to ensure the statistical validity of the study. The second one is that the experiment has to measure the growth rate of the fungi with millimetric resolution images. And also it's very important that the cameras cover all the surface of the sample. The third one is that the experiment should give risk factors at a minimum. And the last one is that the experiment has to be exposed for at least 6 days to microgravity conditions. This time period was chosen because we need that gene expression changes happen. And for that, we needed to ensure that the fungi had enough space to grow. So the key performance parameters, the first one is that the substrate must maintain useful conditions during transport. Then the samples have to be kept from 48 degrees Celsius before the beginning of the experiment, and then to be frozen to -22 degrees Celsius for its return. This is because we need the fungi to grow in space. The third key performance parameter, is that the spore must arrive in good conditions to the ISS for the experiment. The fourth one is that the air return must be successful to complete the mission, to proceed with the RNA analysis. And the last one, as I mentioned before, is that the camera has to capture millimetric resolution images. So this, for the space segment, I want to point out that Lisa, who is a bioelectronics expert, reviewed the design of this mission. He's worked with space bioelectronic technologies and NASA. So this is the space segment, and the functioning consists of a mechanism which has a rotating axis that has 2 cameras and change their position by 90 degrees to take the pictures of 3 samples each time. We have 9 samples in total. And to get the complete image, on-ground post-processing must be done to create a composite image. Okay, so this is the space segment. All the modules of this design have been proven in our experiments in space. For example, PDA has been used in fast space missions. Also, the electronics will be attached to the frame with bolts, nuts, and rubber formats, similar to the way it's done in chipsets. And also, a rubber mat will be placed between the structure and the samples to dampen vibrations. In the case of the environmental control, we developed a validation grid that serves as a air exchange and also to prevent sudden pressure changes. Also, for eliminating cross-contamination with the ISS, a gas thermal membrane will be placed covering the samples. In the case of the electronics, we will implement 2 sensors alongside the cameras to measure the CO2 concentration levels and also the temperature and relative humidity. This is because we need to take into account the influence in the development experiment. We will use cameras that are the Evercam Sony because they have a resolution of 8 megapixels, which gives us an effective resolution of 80.5 micrometers per pixel because of the distance of the samples of 4 centimeters. And the computer we selected is the Raspberry Pi Zero because it is really cost effective and has enough computing power to process images. So Our power subsystem, we base these calculations on the data sheets of the components, and our total consumption is estimated to be 2 watts. This is the worst case scenario. And for the content data handling, we will be implementing the ISQ's protocols as well as the MQTT protocol, which gives us features like last will and testament that will gives us a safety measure in case the data connection is lost. The data will be downloaded and synchronized with the user home base using the ISQ facility. And finally, our mass budget is estimated to be half a kilogram approximately. So the first phase of this mission is that the cube, the samples will be in limit state. They will be frozen. The second phase will be the processing of the samples, and they will start growing. The third phase is manual operations and constant data collection. The fourth phase is the placement of the cube in the ISR's freezers to maintain its structure and integrity. And the last phase is the transfer of the cube to Earth to proceed with the RNA analysis.
Our mission is going to be run as a public-private partnership. In the public front, we have the Costa Rican Institute of Technology, which is the university that we belong to, and several of their research laboratories. And in the private front, we will have the National Banana Corporation of Costa Rica, and they represent all the national and local producers in Costa Rica. They also have connections with the United Nations. They do work with the World Economic Forum, the World Banana Forum, sorry, and also they are actually a semi-private institution. They will be our main partner, our main client, and also our main sponsor. As you can see in this Gantt chart, we are currently in the mission analysis phase, and our mission is to be done by the end of 2022. For our mission risk, the main risk and our main concern was the lack of sufficient funding, but due to our partnership with Corona, this has been already partly addressed. So we have other risks such as storage and damage in transport, internal mechanism failure due to vibrations, decreasing of samples during transport, and electronic misfailure. But we will run even more analysis on our mechanical design so that we can decrease even more these risks. As you can see, the final cost of our mission is a total of $100,000. 25% of it is represented by the mission analysis, and here we include our trip to Tokyo due to the importance of the feedback that we can obtain from these contests. And also in the operations, we have the 55% of it, but this amount was provided to us by the ISQ technical team. And also, as you can see, we are working on a solution that will help with the maintenance of an industry that provides millions of people with the main source of income, but also the main source of the nutrients and food that they can have. And not only for developing countries, but also for many countries worldwide that have the banana as part of their diet. But also, we are contributing with the transition of this industry through the Sustainable Development Goals agenda, mainly with number 8, decent work and economic growth, number 12, responsible consumption and production, and number 15, life of land. By the possible outcomes that we can have as a result of this experiment, we can help with reducing the usage of fungicides, and also with reducing the usage of other chemicals, and also restoring the banana industry in countries where this has been already devastated. So we hope you like our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and now we can go to the question section.
Thank you very much. So you have a some electronic system inside of the experimental module, and maybe even within the ISS, we should be careful about the single event. So do you have a special treatment against the single event?
Sorry, can you repeat the
single event of the radiation effect, maybe the total dose would be okay inside of the ISS, but the single event may occur even within the ISS. So you have some special treatment against a single event.
Hello. In the case of a single event that could damage the software or something in the computer, in the paper it says that we have a heartbeat sensor which provides a measure that if the computer fails, it will restart itself again. So that way we ensure that the computer will stay on in all the missions.
Okay. So you have the, for example, excess time detection system, excess time detection system.
Yeah.
Overcurrent detection system.
Yeah, we do have an overcurrent. Actually, the Raspberry Pi already provides this function, but we also provide a capacitance needed for this requirement.
If you have a laptop in your process, the only way that you can get rid of the laptop is you have to detect the current and then power cycle the system. You have to switch it off and on again. Otherwise, you will not get rid of the laptop.
Yeah.
And not just resetting the processor, that will not help.
There is a heartbeat sensor. So the computer generates a square signal. If the computer stops this,
Yeah, that's like a watchdog.
yeah, then the switch will turn out and then reset itself.
Switch off the power and switch it on again.
Yes.
Okay.
On the whole experiment.
You can also request ice cubes to turn off the power.
That's also an option.
Which is always needed. The question about your sample holders, what are they made out of?
Polycarbonate.
Okay, good. I was concerned they might be glass and glass is
Oh, no, that's it.
Okay.
Could you explain a bit more, thank you by the way for the very nice visual lessons, presentation together. Could you explain a bit more on how you would apply to the Earth any positive results that you get from space? So suppose that you get actual gene expression changes due to microgravity in the body, how can you apply that?
Well, we can have a different source of outcomes due to this experiment. First of all, the most important information or the most important value that we get out of this experiment is the information that we get. Since this was never done before, it will be the first time that those structures will be done in the ISS. So we are on a blindfold here because we don't know what to really expect. But what we do know is that the gene expression can be, the differences can be done through by the microgravity because by fact, the fungus and bacteria grow faster in microgravity conditions, so we need to find what is causing it. And we can either do the replication of those conditions here on Earth, or we can identify which is the specific gene sequence that is being triggered, so that we can take it out of this fungus and put it in another chassis that can either be a bacteria or the fungus, so that we can produce it in big scales, so that if it is like a metabolism, so that we can reproduce it. If it is due to its growth, we can provide these modified fungus, so that we can introduce this sequence to another fungus in normal conditions, so that we can now have a total molecular biology and synthetic biology system on how to modify it. And that's why we need to do the further RNA analysis.
Well, thank you very much. I was very interested in that you were already thinking about the sponsorship from the industry side. So have you already started a communication to that banana company, or if so, how does it go, what's the reaction?
Okay, yes. Sorry, it's just that sometimes it's really hard for me to understand English from such participants. I'm really sorry for that. The thing is that we are currently working with Corvana, and they actually sponsor part of our trips here to Tokyo. We have been doing several meetings with them. We have a lot of connection with them. this is such an important experiment for Costa Rica. Banana is the main product exported in Costa Rica. I said that was the second one, but it's just because in Costa Rica we put all the medical supplies in one rubric. But if we separate them, banana is the most exported product. And it is so important that it generates over 40,000 direct jobs. And there is a whole region in our country, the Caribbean Sands, in a in a province called Limon, where almost 80% of people there depend on this economy. So we're also running other alliances with other governmental institutions, and as Arjun said, banana is basically like our goal after company.
So I want to point out that the CEO for Banana actually reached to us. We didn't look for them, and they were very interested because this experiment that, so in Costa Rica, they have never thought about it. They usually use fungicides or they use GMOs, but they don't think about space. So it's really important.
Yeah, from my side, it's an interesting presentation, and I can see that your banana export company or producers are quite interested. And $100,000 will be small money for them if they can save their crops. What is the most important reason why you want to be on the space station? Is it just the microgravity environment that's important? What is the reason why you cannot do this experiment on Earth in a climate state, for example, using a climate state?
Okay, so the big difference is that we have constant exposure and prolonged exposure. And also, the environmental gases is still different on Earth than on Earth. So, it changes the way of the fungus expressing. Also, the trip and all those things change the way they interact and the way their behavior expresses. Because because they react to stress. And that's way different stress than on Earth.
Also, in the climate set, we have a simulation of microgravity, but we don't have actual real microgravity conditions. And as my partner just said, the environment by itself is totally different. We are measuring microgravity, but we will also take into account the humidity and the oxygen, because we know that the fungus, since it is going to start growing faster, we will have changes in the oxygen consumption, and we will have changes in the humidity that we will have. So all that information, we need to collect it and to see what was the actual factor that is causing for fungus and bacteria to grow faster in the ISS. NASA and some other companies have been doing this type of research before, but they haven't shared the results such as say like, well, hey, we did this, and this is the reason, this is why. And we know by fact that this is what's happening. And by doing a dual culturing, we're not analyzing only one, but two, and also the interaction between those two. So we know that the experiment is going to carry out and open a gate in research of agricultural investigation. And we really hope that this can help not only to the banana, but also to many other research.
I think we have to
I'm sorry.
we have too much time.
I get really
So thank you very much.